What's up, everyone? This is Goldilocks, former TNA backstage interviewer, manager, and you're listening to TNA Cross the Line podcast. Thanks for being here.
TNA Wrestling, Cross the Line.
And we're back with episode 261 of the TNA Cross the Line podcast. I'm Colling Jr. With me, as always, is Dallas Gridley. And Dallas, we are coming out of Bound for Glory, where Sting, that's right, folks, Sting, the ultimate B-plus player, is the new NWA World Champion. The reign of Jeff Jarrett, the reign of terror, is officially over. We made it through over 4 years of Jeff Jarrett consistently being either the NWA World Champion or challenging for the championship. But as we move forward, spoiler alert, that is a thing of the past. But what is not a thing of the past is that Kurt Angle is also here in TNA Wrestling. And he had a confrontation with Samoa Joe at Bound for Glory, which should not be shocking for anybody. So Kurt Angle is likely going to be the next reign of terror instead of Jeff Jarrett. And I don't think either one of us will necessarily complain about that switch. But as per usual, when we come out of a pay-per-view, there's going to be a bunch of new developments. And there's one man who will probably stutter, will probably lose his place reading the lines. And that's Dallas. How are you feeling coming out of Bound for Glory? And how are you mentally prepared to not mess up during the notes?
Oh, well, I'm definitely going to mess up during the notes. You know it's going to happen. There's a lot to talk about post-pay-per-view. I'm feeling really good, though, after Bound for Glory, Bob. Like you said, the Reign of Terror is over. It's actually a pretty wild thing. We have witnessed arguably the run that made people hate Jeff Jarrett probably more than before. But it's done. It's over. And Sting's the guy he put over. He didn't want to put over someone young. He didn't want to put someone over new. He put over Sting. And you know what? That's fine. It's over. It doesn't matter. I thought it was a pretty good show overall that we watched. And we will, of course, be diving into all of Dave Meltzer's ratings for that here in just a few minutes. So, Bob, I think we both liked it, right? We both gave Bound for Glory a thumbs up, correct?
Yeah, I would think so.
I don't see why we wouldn't have. It was especially the second half of the show was really good.
Yeah.
What do you think that the readers of the Wrestling Observer gave it?
I would be shocked if they said thumbs down. So I'm going to say they went thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty obvious. 188 people, or 87%, gave it a thumbs up. Only 10 people gave it a thumbs down, which was 4.6%. And 18 people, or 8.3%, were in the middle. I do believe those numbers are a little bit higher than they normally are. So as Dave always likes to say, and we'll probably read it here soon, if that correlates to the buy rate, they probably did a lot better than normal.
I would imagine, yeah.
I mean, it's a big show.
Because they're normally doing 25?
What, people?
Like 25,000?
That sounds right. We've never really got to dive too much into pay-per-view buys, so I don't have an exact number, but
I would say that this would do at least. Well, what? I know Sting got a pretty good buy rate for Final Resolution, I think.
Right. And this is now a title match, his career on the line.
Yeah, but then it's a pretty stacked show. I'm gonna say it would have got probably around 45,000.
Well, hopefully we'll find out sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Now, I know we did not run down the card yet, but What did you think was the best match on that card, voted by the Wrestling Observer readers?
probably they would probably say the cage match.
Yeah, 6 sides of steel. 126 people voted that. In second place, they voted for Chris Sabin versus Senshi with 85 votes.
Okay.
Now, the worst match on the show, I think there's one that really sticks out. I think we said it even before we turned the show on. What do you think that one was?
That'd be Eric Young and Sabisco.
That's correct, with 140 votes. Now, there's quite a lineup after that, though. In second place, Sting versus Jarrett, 15 votes. In third, I know. In third place, Kevin Nash's Gauntlet Battle Royal, 14 votes.
No.
In fourth place is a match we didn't even see. Is the pre-show match, Bobby Roode versus Lance Hoyt, 11 votes. And then finally, in the last spot, James Gang versus Team 3D versus Naturals versus AMW with 9 votes.
Okay, I could understand that one. I'm surprised that 11 people would have watched, not necessarily watched the pre-show, but would have felt the need to vote that as the worst match.
I think that's really, really interesting.
Yeah. That'd be like watching, the Sunday Night Heat before WrestleMania.
And being,
there'd usually be a match on that. And then being like, you know what, that match between, what year? 2006. So what would it be? Oh, the match between Gene Snitsky and Jim Duggan on Sunday Night Heat was like the worst one. So I'm gonna literally type that in. I wouldn't have even remembered it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that plays into the fact that, I mean, they never really said it on TV, but we heard the note at one point where it was like, the pre-show's part of the show. So maybe like they did present the pre-show like that. We don't know. We did not see it. I don't know if there is a way to see it.
That is such a hokey way of like.
I know. Extending your show and like
promoting it. Because they don't say, like, whenever there's ads for it, it's always a 3-hour extravaganza.
Yeah,
not a 3.5-hour extravaganza.
Right.
3 hours.
So. I don't have my DVD up here anymore. I'm pretty sure that it didn't even make mention of the pre-show on the back of the DVD. So
I'm sure it didn't. I'm surprised that is it Robert Roode or Bobby Roode? Is it still Bobby?
This is Bobby.
Okay, so Bobby Roode doing the whole manager tease thing, and then he essentially is debuting it.
Well,
the pre-show of Bound for Glory is nuts.
Well, I agree with that. Okay, so according to Cage Match, the pre-show he is listed as Robert Roode. Dave has it written here as Bobby Roode, but so it might be Robert now.
Okay, well, I'm sure we'll find out soon.
They have to. They've been showing the vignettes on TV, and then they do it on the pre-show. They have to show us on TV.
Yeah, and I would imagine that they would be switching to Robert because Bobby Roode is like Team Canada.
I think they should switch to Robert.
I think they should as well.
Yeah. Well, time will tell.
Yeah.
Let's dive into.
He'll have Tits McGee with him.
That's right, Ms. Brooks.
Ms. Brooks.
Yeah, we'll be talking about it. Let's dive into some notes. I actually have a very quick one from Alvarez first, just because I thought the way he wrote it was kind of interesting. I'm pretty sure we had brought this up during the show, so Bob, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong about that. But he writes this obviously after Sting has won the title. He says at Wacky Pay-Per-View. I don't know if I would consider a wacky one, but whatever. He said.
He said a wacky what? I muted myself.
He says Sting wins title at Wacky Pay-Per-View. Now I don't read his reviews of the show unless I have to.
He compared to Dave Meltzer, dude, the way that I think you've shared some of his reviews on here before.
It's brutal, dude.
He would be the equivalent of like a YouTuber if it was just writing. You're going for clickbait.
Dude, it is.
You're trying to think of a outlandish opinion to get people to click on something and read it.
It is very different because Dave is very like, this is what happened, this is what I thought about it, and then Alvarez is like, writes in caps and puts little squiggly lines and like dude, it's a lot. But
Meltzer is like somewhat professional, but then he'll have like a cringe comment because he'll try to be funny and it's not funny.
Yeah.
Meltzer or Alvarez is like trying to be a comedian who happens to write about pro wrestling, but he's also like not funny usually. Sometimes he'll have like a one-liner that's like, okay, that's good. That's a funny.
There
line,
has
but
been once in a while.
It's
Yeah.
usually not. Yeah. He tries to not find the good to make it funny.
Yeah, yes, it's very accurate. And so this is obviously so outlandish. I'm not even going to be reading the entire thing, but I thought this first chunk was interesting enough to at least bring up. And I think it's just the way he wrote it that is like, oh, that is a good point. Besides all the negativity. But so he said, so you've got the biggest pay-per-view of the year coming up in a few weeks, Bound for Glory. The first TNA pay-per-view to move outside the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. The main event is Jeff Jarrett versus Sting for the NWA title in a match where Sting has vowed to retire if he loses. You've just sent Kurt Angle, who will be the special enforcer in the match and has yet to appear on television. Now, this is obviously hypothetical he's writing. Because then, Bob, enter Vince Russo. And I think we talked about his return briefly, just casually during our Bound for Glory episode.
Because he just got here before No Surrender.
Yes. Oh yeah. So we've definitely talked about it. So
yeah,
before
I made
Glory,
note that No Surrender is technically the first show in which he's writing, but we hadn't gotten to TV yet that he would start being part of the writing group.
Yes. So it's just kind of an interesting. Like I gotta say, I didn't really think about this. So he says Vince Russo's life has always been about ratings. Screw pay-per-view buys. The idea is to draw ratings. I guess the theory is that if you increase ratings, you'll have more eyeballs watching TV and thus convert to them to more pay-per-view buyers.
No, that's not true.
And he says that's fine in theory, but his desperate attempts to draw ratings in WCW resulting in them drawing basically the same ratings while doing they were doing before he came in, causing pay-per-views and house show business to collapse. So why anyone figured that it'd be different this time around, I have no idea. I guess people figured that with Jeff Jarrett and Dutch Mantel booking alongside him, mistakes could be avoided. And in the end, all we got was 3 people to cast blame on. And so, basically, what my whole point about this is so Kurt Angle has not appeared on TV yet. You'd think the idea to make people pay to see him for his first live appearance. The biggest pay-per-view of the year is coming up, after all. Nope. Instead, his first ever live appearance in TNA occurred on the iMPACT this past Thursday, so before Bound for Glory. He got out of a limousine and said hi to Jeremy Borash. So he says, mark that down for historical purposes. And then, of course, he does go into the Samoa Joe confrontation, stuff like that. But I did not think about it until I read this, that this is Vince Russo being like, let's pop a rating. Let's put Kurt Angle on TV. I didn't even think about it.
See, I don't know if I would equate to that because they didn't say he'd be there live.
But I think Russo is very much the guy to be like, you never know what's going to happen. You should, because if you read this after, you'd be like, oh my God, I should have watched iMPACT.
Okay. Well, yeah.
I feel like
I agree. I agree in the sense that they definitely should have waited for him to appear until
we talked about it.
Yeah. So I definitely think that would have made the most sense. I don't think when we were watching it, I felt like it was a ratings thing. I just thought that they just couldn't wait to me, I feel like they were saying he's for sure here, guys. Don't worry, buy the pay-per-view. And then they want to get like consumer confidence. Like Kurt Angle's guys, we actually signed him. Like it's fine.
Yeah, I think that is accurate too.
I think popping a buy or a rating would be Kurt Angle's here and he's fighting Samoa Joe on iMPACT tonight. That is trying to pop a rating.
That would be nuts.
That'd be like TNA's equivalent of Goldberg Hogan on Nitro. It's like we're definitely trying to pop a rating. So here we are.
Right. Okay. Anyways, enough about Alvarez. Let's get into Dave Meltzer's Bound for Glory recap here.
So star ratings too.
Oh yeah. This is the good stuff. TNA's Bound for Glory, from a business standpoint, did not get off to a great start. With 1,100 tickets sold when they were first put on sale, tickets weren't moving all that quickly from that point forward until the signing of Kurt Angle. However, Going against Game 2 of the World Series, which featured the Detroit Tigers, it figured to kill walk-up because, they were in Detroit. What wasn't counted on was a lot of people coming to the show from outside of Detroit, which, if you get a big show, you should consider that. So, the October 22nd show in the CompuWare Arena in Plymouth, Michigan, or as they say, Detroit, drew a full house of about 3,600 fans who were said to be as enthusiastic as the best Orlando crowd. Raven, after his match, said it was the type of crowd that you'd go out and work before if you had a broken arm. So basically being like, if you were hurt, you'd go out and work in front of this crowd.
I thought the crowd was very good.
Yes, I agree.
I thought you were gonna say like Raven was gonna use some kind of like ECW cliche.
No, he's not gonna. Thank God he didn't.
Yeah, thank God he didn't do that.
It
reminded me of the ECW arena, but like 3 times bigger.
It was way bigger. Yeah. Sorry, I was just thinking about another ECW arena thing. If it comes up again, we can talk about it. It's very insignificant to what we're talking about.
You talking about what, NXT going there?
Yeah, well, if it comes up in conversation, we can bitch about it because I think it's kind of funny. I'm just picturing Shawn Michaels taking a picture in front of the sign in the bathroom. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah, you know what? He would do that, and he'd be like, "So much history here,
dude."
It's like, Sean, shut the fuck up, dude. Like you don't even know.
It's cracking me up. I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, I can't wait to see the bathroom picture of ECW's painting.
I wish he would do like press there, right? To like build it. And not that you need press to probably fill, 2,000. I don't even know if they do 2,000 seats in there, but let's say 1,500. Like I wish he would do press there and be like, I really wish I could have worked in the ECW arena back when ECW was red hot. He would say something.
Oh my God. It's so funny. It's so funny. Okay. Anyway, by our response, Dave says the pay-per-view probably did at record levels, which this and next month need to do. So we got significantly more than double the response to the show as last month's No Surrender show. So that's really good. Our response historically has been pretty accurate as a prediction of how TNA shows will do, including ones when it ended up being far more accurate than the actual original figures that the cable companies got. He says that he would suspect that they are in the 500,000 range. Which
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry. See, there you go. I messed up. 500 or 50,000. 50,000. Jesus.
Dude, if they got
500,000
buys, holy shit.
See, and now I got in my head that because Bob said I was going to mess up, and here I am messing up a significant figure.
I was about to like Google it and be like, TNA buy rates, because I've done that before and I've like compared things. If I had gone on there and Bound For Glory 2006 was like $500,000 or 500,000 buys, and you'll get like Bound For Glory 2005 when it was like 30,000. Like, what the fuck? How the hell?
I'm blaming Bob for this one. So Bob was pretty.
I put it in your head, man.
Bob was pretty accurate though. He said around 45. So if they got 50,000, not too off, and pretty good. So if they are in that range and they've been hovering at only half of that for the past few months, it will be interesting to see if next month's Genesis does better, because it's being said that that'll be Kurt Angle's first match. So.
Oh, see, I don't believe that. I feel like they would put it on an Impact.
Well, we do got to keep in mind we have a primetime special coming up, and I feel like they're going to want to fucking load that show up.
Right.
So.
Right. Oh, exactly. The prime, which is the week before the pay-per-view, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? To be fair, Jarrett has gone on record saying that their focus was always on TV compared to getting like the buy rate. They were a TV product.
Well, and what's interesting about that too is it kind of makes sense because they're in the same building. It's a free crowd anyways. Now, once you start going on the road with like Bound for Glory, like you kind of need to get a good buy rate because it's going to help make up some of the costs that you had to do to bring your show on the road. But if they're just at Orlando doing the pay-per-views, I mean, the buy rates are just like, it's kind of like bonus. Like this is what it is.
Yeah. Now, I looked up the buy rates roughly for TNA, and shockingly, not all of them are available. But But it says Bound for Glory 2006 ended up, and I'm sure that you'll mention it later on when it's like more confirmed. But it was between 55 and 60,000.
Oh,
I would
wow.
say that's very good. That's
for TNA,
basically double anything that they had done prior.
Yeah. So it's not a lie that this is actually their biggest show in the company's history.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I noticed it says that on the poster. TNA's single biggest wrestling pay-per-view event of all time.
Yeah.
So, and that was the poster leading up to it, not after. So, pretty cool. So Sting, of course, saved his career by beating Jeff Jarrett in the main event. And most likely, Dave thinks that Sting is going to be wrestling Christian for the title in December, which would be pretty.
That would make sense.
Interesting. And he's thinking that Joe and Angle would likely be the NWA title picture by early next year. So we'll see how that leads into that. But interestingly enough, there was a lot of talk behind the scenes regarding Sting. While stories are kind of funny, there was definitely internal frustration with him. He showed up in tremendous shape, particularly since he's almost 48, down a good 20 pounds, with no steroid look to him. He came and said that he was more ready for his match than any match in his career. And Dave then says, this is interesting, Bob, and I'm curious what you're going to think about this, because I didn't know if I really noticed. But he says, unfortunately, he got completely lost in the match. And we're going to dive into that a little bit more here soon. But he kind of makes it sound like he didn't do very good, which that is not how I watched it. But we'll talk more about it, so we can hold that thought for a second. But he Sting actually
got lost in the match.
Yeah. I think he breaks it down a little bit more here soon. He notes that Sting actually got a bigger pop than Angle at the show, even though the main event wasn't a good match. He says the pop for the finish, where Sting no-sold the guitar shot and he got the Scorpion Deathlock for the submission, was gigantic. It was interesting watching because Sting, when programmed right and kept strong, has always had an ability to electrify an audience more than all but a few guys in the last 20 years. However, that only at certain points in time, usually when the business was already hot and with the right opponent, did it ever really translate into big business. Now, at the show, there was more talk and interest in Angle and Joe, who weren't even wrestling, than the main event, even though they went crazy for Sting coming out. Now, he says the bad part was that Sting showed up and had no idea Angle was going to be part of the match. I find that hard to believe, to be honest, but he said he didn't complain, he just didn't know. Well, part of the blame can go to the company.
Didn't they promote it on television that he was like the enforcer? Yes. I mean, I know Sting wasn't there on TV, but I mean, it's been communicated out there.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. He says he didn't complain, he just didn't know. While part of the blame can go to the company for lack of communications, others were saying it showed lack of professionalism on his part to be so unaware of the industry and the job that is paying him so much money. The funny story to some was that Sting forgot to bring his white face paint with him, and Bob pointed this out actually during the pay-per-view. When he realized it, TNA had people go all over the stores, and they couldn't find any white face paint anywhere. The day ended up being saved as, during the show, a TNA official found an ICP fan in the stands with his face painted. They asked the fan if they could borrow his face paint, which he had in his car, so about 1 hour before Sting's match, the fan went to his car to give TNA officials his white face paint.
That's crazy.
That's like an awesome story to like look back and be like, that's a fan's face paint.
That's such a TNA thing, though.
Oh, well, of course it is.
But it's not even TNA's fault. It's Sting's fault for not bringing the paint.
Right. It's lots of fun. I like that. Before we get into the match, he's got one little part here. The show wasn't the best TNA show, but nothing was bad. He says, well, except Larry Zbyszko versus Eric Young, and at least that was short. And the second half of the show was excellent. Had the main event finish been anything different, the match would have been another anticlimactic, below-average main event, but this was a night to give people what they wanted. As for how long Sting holds it, I think the idea of hot-shotting it to Christian and then moving to Joe versus Angle, which has to be the key title feud of 2007, is too much. I think there's interest in Angle versus Sting as a one-time deal. He said, I'd have done Angle versus Joe, or done it before Angle versus Joe, but at this point, that's no longer even feasible. As a pay-per-view curiosity, and Angle needs to win that match. But I don't think Sting should be champion when this happens, so it's either after Sting loses or Angle wins. So, pretty interesting. And Bob, it's time to get into the matches. So I guess let's dive into it. And we'll be talking about Sting getting lost, I think, at the last one. So, in the pre-show, Robert Roode pinned Lance Hoyt. Okay, so here we go. He writes it as Robert Roode.
Yeah, must be right.
Yeah. He pinned Lance Hoyt in 3 minutes, 38 seconds. Roode, where his Terry Taylor hand-me-down robe, gave himself a new first name and introduced his new CEO, Ms. Brooks. Hoyt was on the top rope when Brooks interfered. Roode won with a rabbit lariat and his new finisher, which is actually just Christopher Daniels' last rites, called The Payoff.
But now the last rites.
The last rites is, isn't that the, like, it's like the Crossroads, isn't it?
Is it?
Because you got the Angel's Wings. I think it's something. I can see it in my head partially, but I can't
even visualize it in my head about the last rites.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Anyways, that's his new finisher. Next up, and he doesn't rate that match for the record, so we'll never know how truly bad it was, apparently.
I'm sure he didn't watch it.
Well, that, but also, it's on the pre-show. So.
Yeah.
Next up, Austin Starr, who is Austin Aries in ROH, if you didn't know. And he's also been Austin Aries in TNA before. He won the Kevin Nash Gauntlet Battle Royal in 17 minutes and 11 seconds. They did the overdone gimmick where Starr was the first one in and won it. It was a decent opener, maybe long. Some of the comedy worked, such as Nash at ringside doing commentary and him bringing out a bowling trophy with Don Carter's name on it. Some of it, like Short Sleeve Samson or referee Slink Johnson becoming a momentary participant, didn't work. He also points out how A1 is supposed to be like a comedy of a heavyweight in the X Division match, so they added him in there to be funny, but it didn't appear that anyone but the announcers noticed or cared, which, I mean, we were like, why is A1 in this? But like, I think that went over our head of like, it was supposed to be funny.
Well, I mentioned like it makes no sense, but then I guess in the context of it's supposed to be funny that he's a heavyweight, a joke heavyweight guy in the X, I guess that kind of makes sense. But I didn't necessarily put that together as that being the intent of humor.
Right. On Zach Gowen being in Nash, he says, "At least I signed the right one-legged guy."
Yeah.
And Tenay, he's your ace in the hole, which is a knock on Johnny Ace Laurinaitis being told years ago to raid TNA for Gowen by Paul Heyman and Vince, and Ace going to Florida and signing the wrong one-legged wrestler.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. That's a little deep cut. I kind of do like that one.
Yeah, that's good.
Anyways, the match came down to Austin Starr and Jay Lethal, with Starr winning with a brainbuster. He gives this match 2.25 stars.
Okay.
Next up, Team 3D won a 4-way over BG and Kip James, Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens, and Chris Harris and James Storm in 6 minutes and 51 seconds. Gail Kim wasn't there because she was selling that border toss spot from the Impact. She was also kept away from FanFest, and I'll just, I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler, but she is not going to be on TV for at least 2 weeks. So she's being
really selling it.
Yeah, they're really selling that. The finish was a 3D with Brother Ray pinning Andy Douglas. Post-match, Shane Douglas get in the ring all furious that his guys lost. He was browbeating Douglas, who was selling the 3D. Stevens went to get Douglas's face, but slapped Stevens hard in the face. He gives us 1.5 stars. Next up, Samoa Joe won a 4-way Monsters Ball over Raven, Abyss, and Brother Runt in 11 minutes and 8 seconds with Jake Roberts as the referee. After that debut, they actually used Roberts again, so that's good, I guess. They decided not to not use him. He was not an embarrassment here, other than it's amazing he actually only a few years older than Nash because Nash looked a good 20 years younger. The match was just largely a collection of big spots. Eventually, Raven attacked Roberts at one point. He says that wasn't pretty. Abyss dumped his thumbtacks all over the ring. Joe gave him a senton, sending his face into the thumbtacks, and he got up with tacks stuck to his face. Joe put Abyss in a choke, and Raven broke it with 3 chair shots to the back. Roberts then gave Raven a DDT, and Joe pinned Raven after a muscle buster. Roberts put the snake on Raven after the match. He gives this one 3 stars.
Yeah, that's fun.
Right. Eric Young.
I don't know if I would have gave it 3 stars. I don't.
It might be a little high. Because we were also after been like, shouldn't it have been more violent? I feel like that's always the case, right?
Well, the fucking street fight was more violent than Monsters Ball.
Right. Eric Young pinned Larry Zbyszko in 3 minutes, 21 seconds, and a loser gets fired match. Please don't ask how Young, who was fired and didn't miss a TV show, then was booked on the pay-per-view with this step. Particularly when you were trying to sell Sting putting on his career on the line in the main event draw. It's a pretty good point.
Yeah, that was explained on television. Jim Cornette was like,
well, I know, but
you're not fired anymore, but you could be fired.
I guess.
It was dumb. It was stupid.
We can all agree with that.
Yeah, this is bad.
He says all they did was establish that the step meant nothing in the company. Which, like you said, I guess you're right. You're right.
It's pro. Anytime there is a loser leaves or career on the line, whatever, you'll be lucky more times than not if that wrestler is gone for more than 3 months.
Right.
Lucky.
That's right. He mentions how Zbyszko stalled for 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Mind you, the match was 3 minutes and 21 seconds. He said bringing back memories of his wrestling career. Eventually, Zbyszko went to pull out brass knuckles, but Young used a low blow and got the knucks, hit Zbyszko, and it was over. Now, as things stand, that's it for Zbyszko and the company. And he was none too happy when he showed up and found out. Dave Meltzer gives this...
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Dave Meltzer gives this one a dud.
Dude, that's gotta suck. You think that you're like in TNA, you're in a wrestling company, whatever. You show up. Hey, not only are you losing, but you're actually losing your job.
Right.
I'd be pissed. I mean, not probably pissed. I'd probably be devastated.
Although,
I don't have
I
don't have a job. Like, what the fuck?
I'm also thinking, like, he knew he's booked in this, like, loser gets fired match. Like, did he really think that they were going to just fire Eric Young?
Right. I'm sure he was thinking, wrestling, I'll be back.
Right.
Something.
But
not thinking like they're like, no, dude, it's ran its course. You're done.
Well, there's some stuff we'll talk about. I don't know if it's this week or next week, to be honest with you. I think there's some opportunity that they could still use him, but we'll get there.
Well, do you really want to oversaturate like the idea of like an authority figure with like Cornette being there?
Well, that's kind of what I'm alluding to.
I know that's exactly what you're alluding to, but it's like, do you really want? I mean, the show is only an hour, 45 minutes, and we're gonna have.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like if it was a 2-hour show, like WCW ended up doing this at the end where you had, like Ric Flair acting as like a president or whatever, and then you had Ernest the Cat Miller as a commissioner.
Dude.
Or even in '99, I think it was like the same idea. Like Flair was president and Piper was commissioner, and it's like, well, what the fuck? So how can the commissioner do something if the vice president is over him? He should be able to say like, no. But in the world of wrestling, it was like, no, the commissioner can do what he wants, and the vice president can do what he wants. It's like, that's not how hierarchy works here. One person is above the other. So I could see them not wanting to dilute it. Cornette being the official, like, hey, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
And Cornette himself already takes up 15, 20 minutes of a show.
Don't get me going. Well, but speaking of Cornette, he came out after that last match with his voice completely gone. Kurt Angle showed up and started his promo until Joe came out and they had a pull apart. It's the same TNA pull apart, although this had more intensity. Angle goes out there like everything is real, which is good if you're a spectator, and not so good if you're in his way. It was probably good to do since they've early seen them touch on TV. I don't know if early is the right word, but anyway, it was a good pull apart. I think that it was a weird. The thing is, like, he mentions how Sting got a bigger pop than Angle. Well, Angle came out earlier in the show, so I'm curious if that pop. Yeah. I'm curious if that pop from Angle was bigger than the one that Sting got, and they just didn't pop again as big for Angle when he came out for the main event.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? We'd have to listen back. But next up, Chris Sabin pinned Senshi in 12 minutes 51 seconds to win the X Division title. Excellent match, very physical, fast paced with nice stuff. The crowd was with it big from start to finish. Senshi did the running Suwa kick or drop kick. I think that's how you say it, Suwa. Followed by his spectacle double foot stomp from the top, which is called the Warrior's Way. Sabin got his foot on the rope to break the count, and then Sabin used the inside cradle off a dragon sleeper to win. He gives this match 4 stars.
Wow.
It was a pretty good match.
It was a good match. Yeah.
Next up, Christian Cage pinned Rhino in an 8-mile street fight in 14 minutes 25 seconds. They started in the parking lot and then brawled backstage. At one point, Rhino drove a Zamboni that Christian was on into the arena. Then in the 2 most spectacular spots on the show, Rhino gave Christian a jumping pile driver off the apron through a table. The place went nuts. Within 30 seconds, Christian was up and back with the advantage. Now he says, for 2 guys with so much experience, I was dumbfounded. But he says, great move and what the hell were they doing? The answer is that they were running short on time, and they had their match cut back because of some of the stuff earlier in the show went too long, so they had to get up and rush to the finish. So that's why they ended up not selling that for as long as they probably would have. I feel like I didn't really notice it because in wrestling nowadays, I feel like that's just the common thing. So didn't really notice, but
yeah, that's the one thing in wrestling that kind of drives me nuts is like these devastating moves, and then within 10 seconds, it's like, oh, I'm fine.
Right.
I mean, that's been happening for, I don't even know, forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Let's date it back to like when Raw first started. It's like 93.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably a good time to say like that's when it really. I mean, for Christ's sakes, on like the 5th Raw or whatever, Money Incorporated like whacked Beefcake with a steel briefcase, and you would have thought, okay, well he's dead, and then they go to commercial and they come back and they're like, by the way, folks, he's fine. It's like, oh my god, are you kidding me? He's fine. Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, Christian, after all that, used the Unprettier on a table for a near fall. He then buried Rhino underneath table debris and other objects, including a ladder. Did 6 chair shots on the ladder and scored the pin. Rhino was supposed to arise from the ashes and fire up after Christian left, but they were so rushed that they didn't have time for it. He gives us 3.25 stars.
I mean, it was fine. I enjoyed that match.
Yeah, I agree. I did as well. Actually, I thought it was way better than I feel like I kept saying that because they've been having some good matches, so I shouldn't expect anything less at this point. But
yeah.
LAX, Homicide and Hernandez defeated AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels in the cage to win the NWA Tag Team titles in 14 minutes 27 seconds. Conan gave Homicide a fork and he carved up Daniels' head. There's lots of cool cage spots as you would expect. And then Hernandez did the Cracker Jack on Daniels, but missed a splash off the top of the cage. That was more than a little scary seeing a guy of that size try that one, Dave says. Conan put a coat hanger through the cage, and they choked Daniels with it. Hernandez gave Styles a hard clothesline, and Homicide used the Gringo Killer on him for the pin. Is it the Cop Killer now? Or I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's the same move.
I would think it's not the Cop Killer anymore in TNA.
Well, I think they started with the Gringo Killer and then they switched it to the Cop Killer.
I think they're trying to avoid the Cop. I feel like they would try to avoid Cop Killer on national television.
Maybe Mike Tenay slipped up that day. I don't know.
I don't know. He might have.
We'll hear it.
Ring of is for sure Capcola. I know that.
Oh, okay.
Because I can just, or like on any indies, I can just hear the announcers screaming out, Capcola!
Now, the original plan here, also cut up because of time, was for AMW to do a run-in and build for the next pay-per-view match. AMW was really upset when they were told they were being cut from the show. He gives this 4 stars.
Okay. Now, why wouldn't AMW just win the 4-way?
You know? It's really
Because
good.
realistically, Team 3D should be like top contender, right?
Correct.
Okay,
I
so
don't
that
know.
doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Hmm.
Well, finally, Bob, the main event. Sting defeated Jeff Jarrett in 15 minutes and 1 second to win the NWA Championship. The first few minutes told a unique story as Jarrett continually out-wrestled Sting, and Sting looked befuddled. Still, the crowd was completely with Sting. Jarrett was trying to get his turn over. Jarrett knocked down Angle and gave Sting a DDT on the floor. Sting was lost from here with a noticeable botched spot, and the crowd booed. And they were pretty good about it. Is when they went back to the wrestling, the crowd was still with them. I don't know if I really noticed issues in this match from Sting.
I thought I really not saying anything either.
So I don't know. Maybe I'd need to rewatch with that on my mind. But eventually, Jarrett used the stroke on Sting and he kicked out. Jarrett was about to use an object, but Sting took it away. Angle then took it from Sting. And while Jarrett grabbed the guitar and he hit Sting, Sting no-sold the guitar shot, used the Scorpion Deathlock for the submission victory. 2 1/4 stars.
I did like the finish. Remember that. No selling of the guitar and just being like, fuck you, and they beat him. Like, I like that.
I'm giving it at least 3. I think. I
feel like 3 is fine.
I think it was arguably one of Jeff Jarrett's best title matches, at least in a long time.
I mean, he had good matches with AJ, obviously, but it's AJ.
That's AJ.
Raven, even though that finish pissed me off. It was good.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, there is some. He has other good matches. It's just a matter of. I think this one. I don't know. Maybe it was just the aura of the show and like the big win at the end and stuff. It just made everything really exciting. I don't know.
I'm sure that plays a part. You know, you're finally outside of the impact zone, and it's a paying audience. It's not even It's not even the fairgrounds where it's like people could get in for free if they just waited.
Right.
Or what a cheaper ticket.
Mm-hmm.
These people actually had I'm sure there were freebies, I would imagine, but for all intents and purposes,
there always
people
is.
are spending their money. Yeah,
right.
They're always spending their money.
Cool. Well, that's Bound for Glory, Bob. I have a couple other quick notes that we'll just do real fast before the show, and then we'll have some that we talk about during the show as well. But feeling good about After Bound for Glory. I think it was very well received, and we will be seeing the aftershock of that here in just a few minutes on the first Impact. So, some rating stuff just to get out of the way. On October 21st, Spike had an all-night block of UFC and wrestling, which yielded some interesting numbers. Mm-hmm. TNA at 6 p.m. did a 0.3 rating, and for the replay of what was a pretty hot Impact show. So, not bad. You can't read too much into that because it was an unfamiliar time slot. So it wasn't a great rating, but weird time for them. So it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And TNA did a Bound for Glory preview show at midnight that did a 0.5. So it's kind of not too bad. The TNA Impact on October 19th did a 0.8 rating and 1 million viewers with only 0.99 in males 18 to 34. Considering that Angle was there live, although that wasn't advertised the week before, and did the much talked about Angle with Samoa Joe, that wasn't good. TNA did advertise the Jericho cameo from the music video on their website, but a website ad isn't going to mean a thing. Bottom line is that Angle won't mean anything for ratings unless TNA does a heavy ad campaign. Really, as a lame duck time slot, it's not going to be doing it until the week of the November 16th 2-hour primetime special.
Well, and I agree with that. I think that you got to go heavy on advertising, which I think TNA over their entire existence have not really done well with. I mean, I would during like Raw and SmackDown, then you got to get an ad in there.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because there's going to be an alarming amount of fans who would be like, where did Kurt Angle go? And if you go, by the way, he's on Spike TV on Thursdays at 9. It's Kurt Angle. They're like, what the fuck? Okay.
Right. Yeah, they need to push that harder for sure. Well, speaking of Kurt Angle, Bob, Kurt Angle's wife, Karen, went into labor the day before Bound for Glory. And so he had to miss the Fan Fest. And now there were about 600 people at Fan Fest the day before, which was considered to be really good. They were all given something that enabled them to get into the arena at 1 p.m. the day of the pay-per-view for a personal meet and greet with Kurt Angle. Now, since he had been the biggest star advertised. So that's a pretty cool deal there. Karen, who is expecting a boy, had not given birth at press time. So I don't know how long she was in labor, but anyway.
As of press time, she still hadn't given birth.
So, and that's got to be what they probably did this the day after Bound for. Well, actually, let's see what the date is. Hold on. Let me scroll up.
Oh my God! So she went into labor the day before Bound for Glory. So that'd be on Saturday. Press time is going to be at least Monday.
At least. Now, the Observer is labeled as October 30th. That just means it was when it was published. So
right. There's no fucking way that she has been in labor a week.
You never know.
At some point, they'd be like, okay, we'll just get this. We'll get this over with.
Yeah. And then the last part of that note is, as for the idea Angle would probably only work major shows, it was actually announced that he would be wrestling on both the November 10th house show in Philly at the ECW Arena and the November 11th in East Hartford, Connecticut. So he has been announced officially for a couple house shows.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. And wow. I have
ECW Arena one doesn't surprise me.
No, that makes sense. I have one final note for you, and this is kind of what I was hinting at earlier, but the only real news out of the thing regarding Jim Cornette, as he was speaking, fans started chanting "Russo sucks" at him, and he was agreeable to it. Apparently, Dixie Carter was there and didn't appear to be very happy about how this was going. And by the end of the night, after so many fans had talked with Cornette, and then in the evening at the bar when so many other people had talked with Cornette about Russo and his hot temper, Cornette went on one of his warpaths again, and it had to be calmed down. People watching from the outside are skeptical that the relationship will last, although aside from Russo, Cornette seems to enjoy being around the product and everyone else. So we will see what happens.
I think I've told you before. It is honestly shocking how long Cornette sticks around for a guy that hates Russo. It's amazing.
Well, that is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's what I exactly think about, is if this isn't going to work out, Zbyszko can just be put back into that role, essentially.
Yeah. You know what? To give you a rough idea, and I think I might have mentioned it before, but as of right now, I'm into like May of 2008 for my TNA Impact wrestling reviews, like written ones. And Cornette's still there.
Okay.
So that's just a rough idea.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's definitely longer than I was expecting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, good for him.
Yeah.
That's not what I expected. But no. That being all said, this is actually a little bit shorter than our normal post-pay-per-view intros, but it's time to get into the October 26th, 2006 episode of Impact.
All right, folks. If you want to watch along with us, head over to TNA Plus, or you can find it in your own personal collection. I'm going to count down from 3. When I say play, that is when the watch along shall begin. The approximate runtime for this is 41 minutes and 45 seconds. Let's get into it. The October 26th edition of Impact. 3, 2, 1, play.
This is TNA. The new face of professional wrestling. Oh, there's a little Kurt Angle at the end.
Kurt Angle at the end. That means he's the Hulk Hogan.
That's right.
Oh, we're getting actual footage, not even stills.
We gotta check the balls to see who's still living. Jake Roberts about we're
Do you
starting
think
off
we'll
with
see
not so
Jake
well.
Roberts again? Or is he a one and done?
I feel like
Well,
that's I think that's a one and done spectacle kind of thing.
Okay.
At this era of wrestling, he ain't showing back up.
How many times did he show up to 2CW? A couple, didn't he? More than one.
I
I
think
know I think he did Syracuse and Watertown for sure.
that makes sense. Well, you know what? Good thing we got the internet. We could find that out.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if it's in my notes, so I'm just going to reference it. And if I say it again, cool. But there is some note somewhere that I read that he took his teeth out and handed it to the ref at another indie show.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I'll
I
never
have.
forget. There you go.
Sorry, I was going to do explosion notes during this highlight package. I just remembered. And then we can talk about Jake Roberts more. I'm looking up his matches as we speak. On the October 27th episode of Explosion, 160, according to Cage Match, Sanjay Dutt defeated P.D. Williams. And then on the November 3rd one, which happened at this taping as well, let me just hold on. The Naturals, Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens, defeated the Paparazzi, which in this case, Bob, interestingly enough, was Alex Shelley and Austin Starr.
Oh,
We may be seeing that pair up here on TV. I like that.
that's interesting.
There is also, I don't think it's shown on, if it's a spoiler, I'm sorry, but I couldn't find evidence of this match. But there is a dark match that happened where Rhino and Christian Cage seemingly went to a no contest.
Mm.
But there's no evidence of that anywhere. So, take it with a grain of salt.
Interesting.
Jake Roberts. Yeah, I gotta finish looking this up.
Yeah, one of my greatest memories is January 2010. Roberts and Springate. Roberts is wrestling in like red sweatpants or something. Takes his dentures out and he jabs Springate right in the forehead.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
And I think I went to that show with LaFlair. And I looked at LaFlair and I was like, I'm sorry, buddy.
Okay. Jake Roberts defeated Zachary Springate III at 2CW's Unfinished Business 4 in Syracuse on January 30th, 2010. And then he defeated Springate again in Watertown at 2CW Live or Let Die, August 22nd, 2010.
That's the same show with Brian Danielson.
Bob, we just announced a Genesis mega match, Kurt Angle against Samoa Joe.
Wow.
We are less than 4 minutes into the show, and really, even less than that, because they did the highlight package, and we have announced the Genesis. It's got to be the main event.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap. Okay.
Well, you were saying they had to do a goodbye rate in October and November. Well, there's your November.
I think they're gonna. Oh shit! We're starting off with the Stinger.
They would burn through a match like that so quick. That's amazing.
Sting's got a new video package where it's pretty much only footage from Bound for Glory now. Oh, he's wearing okay. I gotta say, this is cool. So Sting is coming out with the title, of course. And he's wearing the same Bound for Glory outfit. His face paint is, it's similar. It's pretty close.
He looks great. I mean,
well, I like this Sting look a lot.
I mean, he even looks, I don't know, he looks good with the belt on.
Yeah, there's something about the NWA title. Looks pretty good. This was a pay-per-view. Like, no other 3 title changes. Yeah, this Sting attire is sick.
I don't think I've ever heard his music go so far to that part.
It's just like...
Yeah, I thought somebody else was coming out.
Dinner. Oh, shit. Christian's already in the ring.
How the fuck did he get in there?
What did he do? Sneak in there in the dark?
Yeah, dude.
I didn't want to come out here and steal your thunder, but you've been stealing my thunder long enough.
You suck. You suck.
I just want to say I think it's a load of crap. What? I gotta be in the Fight for the Right tournament to earn a shot to the title that he didn't even lose. Okay, so there's a tournament coming up, Bob.
You gotta fight for the right party. I hope we don't get flagged for that.
Can I give you a fun trivia fact real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just looking this up because I was reading recently, I think maybe even during our Bound for Glory episode, I was looking up about the Sting attire. Someone commented and was like, in the TNA video game that eventually comes out, the attire he's wearing is based on Bound for Glory. And someone commented and said, yeah, but they reversed the colors, so it's not a real attire. Well, he's wearing the reverse colors right now on Impact. So the video game attire is based off of this episode of Impact.
No shit.
So it's weird. When they show Sting again, I'll point it out. So see, he's got black crotch, black pads. That's how it is in the video game. At Bound for Glory, it was the opposite of that. So it was red crotch, red pads, black tights.
Black tights.
So the video game attire isn't just a made up bullshit. It's from a random episode of Impact.
Yeah.
Christian's saying, you're staring at the biggest star right now, and it's Christian Cage. I like how Sting hasn't even spoken yet. Christian's just digging him a hole. Let's cut the crap, Stinger, or should I call you champ? You got the stroke to name your opponent at Genesis, so give the peeps what they want? No, today we do not want the Fight for the Right tournament.
No.
Sting versus Christian Cage, 1-on-1 for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, we could do that.
I mean, I'm fine doing that, for the record. Stop hiding behind that makeup for once in your life and be a man.
Be a man!
Oh, yeah. Be a man, Stinger. Come on, don't be scared. Oh, you want a shot at title? You can have it. Easy. No problem.
Just gotta win Fight for the Right.
Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah. Look, Christian said thanks, and he's leaving. It's not gonna be a Genesis. It's gonna be when I say, "Oh, Bob, could that be the December pay-per-view?" He said, "Say hello to my little friend. He's hiding a baseball bat. Who would have thought Sting had a baseball bat with him?" Boom! Hits Christian in the midsection, right in the chin. It looked like clotheslines him out of the ring.
I would say, if I was Sting, I'd be like, "You can have your title match right now after I beat you up with a baseball bat, and then pin him."
That's a good idea.
You want to pop a rating? Okay, so is this basically telling us that Christian is going to win Fight for the Right?
Well, now he doesn't have to. Sting said he can have it whenever, but Sting's pick and win. So to me, no, he's not going to win it. I think we're setting up for a future show. Jeremy Borash backstage. Kurt Angle's going to speak to the fans for the first time tonight, but Samoa Joe walks in the background. He said Kurt Angle's in the building tonight, right? He's going to speak. Everyone's going to get to know him a little bit better.
Didn't Kurt talk on Impact already?
Not really. We did the interview segment. He's going to be live in the ring, as I think what they're saying. Like, yeah, see, for the first time live in the Impact Zone.
But he didn't come out to the live crowd?
Well, he did for that segment with Joe and him, but I don't know if he really... I don't think he spoke during that.
Oh, maybe technically didn't speak.
Okay. Shane Douglas here. The time has come. His number one contenders get their tag team title shot. What?
Didn't he headbutt him on Impact?
Yeah, but I don't think he spoke to the fans.
Semantics.
There's bigger stuff happening right now, Bob. Shane Douglas is
Shane Douglas is in the ring wearing a collared shirt.
because
Thought he's on a
his
bowling
guys,
team.
his newly franchised Naturals are finally getting their tag team title match.
This
Bob.
guy's wearing a bowling shirt.
Bob, they're gonna get squashed.
No shit. Of course they're gonna lose.
And they're wearing this shit gear. Oh my god, I feel so bad for these guys.
I feel bad
dude.
for them too. This is bullshit, man. I wish this was 2004, late 2000 or the summer of 2004 or whatever. They're feuding with AMW and things are going great. They have just destroyed them.
You know what's wild is that this would have made a lot more sense in the Asylum.
Sure. Yeah.
Last week, there's that border trust to Gail Kim. We're showing that.
Oh, because they're fighting LAX.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gail Kim's on the disabled list.
Shane Douglas was like, I promise you guys are going to win the NWA titles. And they're clearly not going to do that.
Not against LAX.
No.
You ain't going to defeat Super Max in 5150. Oh, shit. Well, maybe they are, because look at this. AMW is attacking LAX. Hera's going after Hernandez.
AMW, they're the obviously the babyface team now again, right?
Oh yeah,
they have to be.
Oh yeah. They've warned Conan's Latin American Exchange that we are prepared.
Are the Naturals not even going to get a match now?
Oh my god. Oh, there's Conan right there. He's got the slapjack. He's going after James Storm, but James Storm going after him. I want you to keep that in mind, Bob. I got a note about that next week.
James Storm going after Conan?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It's a good one. We'll be talking about that next week.
James Storm.
They just threw LAX into the ring. And Natural's going after LAX now. Security's finally pulling AMW away.
So you're going to tell me right now that AMW is going to beat up LAX and the Naturals are still going to job out?
Maybe.
Andy Douglas and Hernandez, I guess, are maybe legally starting. Even though Stevens is working over Homicide in the corner. So who knows who the legal guys are? I'm assuming it's going to be Hernandez and Douglas.
November 19th is Genesis.
Double shoulder block by the Naturals. To Hernandez. Homicide's right back in there. Natural disaster?
Nope. Little TKO knee and then high knee by Andy Douglas. It was a fun little double team. I like that. Now pin him.
Here's the thing. The Naturals are a good tag team. They're just not a good partnership with Shane Douglas.
We have a very special interview with Jeff Jarrett that was taped moments after he lost to Sting. It's very special. We'll see it soon. I think we're about to see the babyface turn and the buff bag while I'm going home.
That is exactly what we're going to see.
Wild guess.
Yeah. I think I got to go away for a while.
Gotta go away. This is the new first title defense for LAX. Uh-oh. Oh, Don West almost said Cop Killer. It's the Gringo Killer. He just hit it. That was funny. Andy Douglas, though, stops him from being able to make a cover. Uh-oh, Conan's, boom, slapjack to Douglas. Chopped by Hernandez. Homicide's grabbing the pocket of Earl Hebner. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Andy Douglas gets tossed over the border. Move is good, dude. And that's a 3.
Pop, pop, pop.
Pop, pop. Rat-a-tat-tat. Get it? The Motor City Machine Gun shirt.
I got it.
Okay, and they're about to get buried in the flags. Bob, do you think that the Naturals are ever going to come back from this franchise crap?
No way.
It really, it really upsets me.
They're probably done. What did you say? I think you said by the end of 2006 they're probably out of here. I think that's probably pretty fair.
If I was them, I'd be thinking about it.
And then, okay, so you're telling me right now that Shane Douglas is going to come down here and be like, you guys royally suck because you got beat up by LAX, who essentially cheated to win. Well, why are they afraid? Okay, there we go. Good, Stevens. Finally, somebody struck Douglas.
We might be able to get a return of the regular naturals here. Oh, shit. Okay,
Oh,
Andy
shit.
Douglas just fucking
This is what Shane has probably been wanting. He's probably going to get up and laugh and be like, yeah, finally, you stood up to me, you dummies.
This is interesting, though, Bob, because just a few weeks ago, Elix Skipper did the same thing to his manager, Simon Diamond.
This motherfucker just ate like a blood packet in his mouth.
No, he's bleeding.
There's a blood packet in his mouth if you look at it.
No?
Yeah, there was.
No.
You could see like his cheek was like, see, there it is. Yeah, this is what I want.
Yeah.
He had like a fucking packet in his mouth.
Paparazzi production. I know Austin Star won the Battle Royal, but I want to get to the bottom of it. You don't think he's better than me, do you? Kevin Nash says, no, he's not better. He's just different. Oh, shit. He just said, so Divine, he's gone, right? And Shelly said, yeah, he's as good as gone. Oh, because Divine said he's not going to edit the snuff films, so he left. And here comes Austin Starr with his Bolin trophy. I like Divine in the paparazzi.
No, he's dead weight.
Hey, Alex. Every frame of every match for Austin Starr. Can you explain to me why I have to do that? Oh, shit. He said it's because I'm the Austin Starr. Okay. Oh, God, Bob.
Stage 1.
Stage 1 for the Fight for the Right tournament. I have a feeling we're about to be able to do some notes in the beginning of this match. Look, the World Series program, Bob. Do you got one of these? Look at this. You open it up, look who it is. AJ Praninsky.
I love how they had to fold the piece of paper down to know where it was in the magazine.
Yeah, I would have made that a little less so. I get it, but here we go. Stage 1. 18 wrestlers start outside the ring. The first 7 over the top rope continue.
Why is it 7?
And then stage 2, those 7 compete in a battle royal to determine seeding, and then the final 2 continue on. Stage 3, the final 2 meet in singles matches, and then the winner gets a bye to the tournament final. What?
So then there's seeding for like after that, like where they would rank that. I don't know.
Okay, this is the infamous reverse battle royal, guys. So we are watching it right now.
And you have to go over the top rope. You can't just roll in there. Ron, just go in the ring. Oh my god.
Let's I'm gonna go read off of Cage Match who's in this match, because we can't. I mean, there's so many people. Jay Lethal, Brother Runt, Ron Killings, Brother Devon, Chris Sabin, Christopher Daniels, Senshi, Sanjay Dutt, Raven, AJ Styles, Christian Cage, Robert Roode, Kazarian, James Storm, Abyss, Lance Hoyt, Kip James, and Eric Young are all outside of the ring.
Okay, so Christian Cage is in the match.
He is. So normally these people would not be in line for a title shot, but this is their chance. Ron Killings trying to get in.
Normally they would not be in line. So Christian Cage would normally not be in line for the title.
It's giving the opportunity to some people who are normal.
Some people.
Like Brother Ron. What? Who did they just say is in a barbed wire steel cage match on the primetime special?
I think it's Christian and Rhino, with how personal it's
Holy
got.
shit. Are you kidding?
Robert Roode is the first one in.
Okay.
There's 6 more to go.
Well, I'm going to tell you some notes during this, Bob. This is an interesting one. Monty Brown was backstage at Raw. His TNA contract expired, and he's obviously looking to get into WWE. Now, the feeling is that he's a good talker, which is something that all 3 brands need, and the chance of him being signed are good.
Yeah, of course they are.
So, just a little update from him. Chris Sabin's.
Saban. Okay.
Oh, Brother Devon is too, what they say, or no? Who is that? Is
Is that Shane? Michael Shane? Yeah, it's Matt. That's Matt Bentley.
Whoa. In Raven's Perch. Interesting. Another note for you, Bob. The planned Portugal show this week was moved to January 5th due to problems with getting visas, authorizations, and licensing on time. So about 2,500 tickets have been sold, with many people coming from foreign countries. Now, the big negative is that with WWE coming for 2 shows in December, the first major show in the country in more than a decade, a January date may not be the best. It's still going to be in the 7,000-seat arena, and there's tons of advertising for the show, including all over the WWE TV programming.
AJ Styles is in there now. So is Abyss.
2 spots remain. I like how these guys now
Awesome.
just stand there and just wait.
Shane Douglas was talking to Brother Ray on the aisle at one point during this match, and who knows what that's about.
Interesting.
Lance Hoyt is in there.
Really?
6.
Oh, look, there's the Naturals in Team 3D, all kind of staring around Shane Douglas.
Christian Ron. Can Christian get in there?
Oh, poke in the eyes, low blow.
Oh, he hit him in the nuts.
Christian Cage trying to climb over him, but here's Rhino.
Rhino's going to stop him.
There's homicide going after James Storm. Ron Killing's got the final spot.
Ron did.
We're into stage 2. Oh, there's Ms. Brooks up there. Okay, we're going to commercial. And we'll be back, and now it's a real battle royal.
Okay, so then we got... So from here we go to 2, and there's a ranking for the other 5.
Yeah? Let's hear. Yes, tournament seedings. So the final 2 meet in a singles match at stage 3, and then the winner of that match gets an automatic bye to the final. So yes, you're right, Bob. We're doing seeding.
Oh my God! So there's still another thing to get to the final.
There's technically another couple matches. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
that sounds exhausting.
Ron Killings is already eliminated. I have one more note for you, and it's actually related to someone in this match and something that you may bring up eventually, or you might have already. I can't really remember. Okay. 1PW ran its first anniversary show on October 14th in Doncaster, England. They drew a sellout of 1,700 fans to the Dome. Now, the main event was billed as a barbed wire match for the 1PW title, where Abyss pinned Steve Corino in 30-plus minutes. Yes, Chris Sabin just got eliminated. Well, I think you might have, but it's interesting because it was advertised as a title match, but Corino didn't come out with the belt, and no announcement was made. After Abyss won, there's still no announcement, but Corino was still recognized as champion. A week later, the 1PW website stated that in the minutes before the match, literally as Abyss's music was playing, 1PW officials were negotiating with TNA officials who knew nothing about any such thing, and the 1PW insurance company. A week later, they announced that Abyss actually had won the title. Now, it appears that they wanted to put the belt on Abyss and have him defend it at the next major show on January 13th, but he wasn't available on that date, so they made it a non-title match. So, it's very confusing. He kind of talks a little bit more.
So, is he the champion or not?
I don't know if I have a straight answer for you.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't.
I do know that match, and for a long time I was trying to like find a way to watch it, and then years ago it was uploaded to YouTube, and I was actually able to watch it.
And was it good?
I'm pretty sure I enjoyed it, but I also can't remember because I've watched a lot of fucking wrestling.
Right. Ms. Brooks grabbing the foot of Daniels as he was about to take Rude off the top rope, and there you go. Rude eliminated Daniels there, and Styles high kick, and there goes Rude. I'll be honest with you, this would probably have been a great opportunity to get Rude, make it appear that he's going to be a champion, and put him into the finals of this tournament.
I just thought the same thing.
That wouldn't have hurt anything. So we are stuck with Lance White, Abyss, and AJ Styles currently.
Well, there's no way that Lance Hoyt is getting a shot at Sting, so let's be real about that.
Yeah, but
AJ Sting could be interesting, but I'm sure this is for Abyss.
There you go.
There's it.
And there goes Styles.
AJ.
Lance White, Abyss. This was one of the hottest matches of 2005 on pay-per-view.
True. Lance Hoyt should have won that match, and they didn't do
Yeah,
it.
he should have. The crowd was nuts.
Safe to say Hoyt really never got the same momentum after that.
No, I think they purposely killed it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So whoever wins this moves on to the finals of this Fight for the Right tournament. The loser has, I guess, the top seeded spot, which I'll be honest with you, Bob, I don't really understand seeding.
I don't understand seeding in the wrestling sense of it.
Well, because it's supposed to be like, so theoretically, who was eliminated first? Ron Killings. So we'll get Hoyt versus Killings because he's the top guy versus the worst guy, right? Theoretically, because he was eliminated first.
Is that how they're? I don't even know.
Isn't that how you do it? Like you pair him with like the lower
Sure,
team?
yeah, no, that's how you would do it. But I'm saying like in terms of like contendership. I thought that's how they were doing it. You're telling me there's going to be like 7 more matches of this?
No, there's going to be 3 more matches and then a finals. Wait, no.
No, because you got to do 3 and then 4. So it'd be 4.
You think they would do multi-man matches and just go quicker?
No, I think that they would do singles. Because there's going to be what? 6. There's going to be 6
Holy
guys.
Shit.
Right?
Lance Hoyt just did a big boot on the best and then ran up to the top rope and did a huge moonsault.
So there's 6 guys, right?
Yeah, 6 guys.
So the finals would be a 3-way. Because there'd be 2, 2, and 2 be 3 singles matches. Each one of those guys that win would be a triple threat.
Well, no, that doesn't. Well, and then what? Whoever wins that then faces whoever wins this.
Right.
Oh, okay. That could work. That makes sense.
So Hoyt could get another shot.
Correct.
If he were to lose, and Abyss would get another shot if he were.
Correct.
He would just have to win 2 more matches.
Yeah. This is way too convoluted.
Yeah, this is stupid.
We shouldn't have to think about it that hard.
No.
Listen, the reverse battle royal part of this is the least confusing and offensive part, I think.
Yeah.
If this was the whole match and ended today on this show, cool. The fact that now we have to continue on and do more stages.
That's what I don't like. It should just end here.
Oh,
especially if Abyss ends up winning the whole thing, we could have just ended it here.
Bob, we're going coast to coast here. Lance Hoyt's on the top rope.
Further than coast to coast.
Oh my God, he hit the chair. He just did fucking coast to coast to Abyss.
Just pin him. That should be enough.
That's kick out too. Because I'll say, as much flack as the reverse battle royal gets, it wasn't like offensive. Like I thought that was fine.
It's just silly.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it only works the way they did it, where there's feuds going on and people could interfere and stuff like that in a way. Like, I think that helped it. Uh-oh. Off the rope, ducks the clothesline, comes back, and black hole slam on Lance Hoyt. That's it. It's got to be. 3. Abyss gets a bye to the finals.
Okay, so then he would. So next week was all 3 match. So in 2 weeks you would get the finals then.
Which, oh no, that's not the prime time. Unless they'll do it at the
Prime
prime
time is the week after.
Yeah. Here we go. Last Sunday, Bob. We're with Jeff Jarrett. Oh, there's sad music playing. I don't like this. Did you underestimate Sting tonight? Point blank. Oh, Jarrett's very upset. For the first 10 minutes tonight, more than half that match, I had Sting's number. There's something in that match. Something almost. Not to get too heavy. Something transformed in him. That was a new Sting.
It's that fan's face paint.
Tonight, he was the better man. He's talking very soft. There's like funeral music in the background, I feel like. It's very
this
like...
is kind of...
Next month, what are you going to do? Home?
Home.
That's where I go. I go home. In every athlete's career, there comes a time. You just got to step back. Okay, he's like getting very emotional. Just step back and rethink on your career. He said, I've done more in this business than I've ever dreamed out to. A skinny punk kid. Come as far as I have. Carried a company on my back for 4.5 years. Started it from scratch. He's maybe dropped the ball on some personal things.
Oh, Jeff.
This is heavy. I'm going to start cheering him now.
Okay, the reign of terror wasn't that bad. Okay.
It wasn't. I wish it was a little longer.
I don't know. Well, but
Be careful what you wish for. Sting, I know you'll hear this. Be careful what you wish for, because I'm exhausted. And now, your fight has just begun, Sting. I hope you're up to carrying the ball. And I sincerely mean that, because there's a lot of pressure that goes with it. With the position that you're in now. I hope you're up to the task.
okay, but
So
Jeff would like
Okay.
actively go out of his way to get the title. It wasn't like he like lucked into it. This guy did a screw job to regain the title.
That's fair.
So he was
Tonight-
asking for torture.
And they said, that is a side we have never, ever seen before. But have they always worn microphones like that? They have ear microphones in.
Well, they didn't have a microphone in their hand.
Wait, I guess you're right. I've never noticed.
Well, they would have a microphone in their hand at the fairgrounds. Like when Don would do his like loud shill, or TNA would be like, next week.
I guess that's the point. I've never noticed the little ear like pop star microphone.
Unless they had it like on their collar or something. But I don't even know that.
I don't know. Interesting.
But yeah,
Anyways,
they were definitely always hands-free.
they didn't have headsets, right? Or did they?
Oh,
Normal headsets? I don't know. Anyway. So that was a very emotional promo by Jeff Jarrett. He basically was like, good fucking luck, TNA. You guys are gonna regret that I'm leaving. But I am.
Jeff's a quitter.
We're seeing a highlight of the Samoa Joe Kurt Angle confrontation from Bound for Glory. They want to get a hold of each other.
Chances. Oh, here he comes. Wow, wow, wow. Boom, boom. Wow, wow, wow.
Here he comes. Oh, yeah. Coming up from the ground, baby.
Bum, bum. Bum, bum. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. There you go. He's happy. He's thrilled.
He's got his
He's
TNA
on
t-shirt on.
Percocet, but he is fine.
No, he isn't clean right now.
Oh, he's clean right now?
I think so.
Well, when does he go on Percocet then?
I don't know.
I thought he was on Perc like right now.
I don't know.
Is Percocet Kurt like when he's real thin? Because there's a time where he's not like this thick, or there's a time where he's like he might have an eating disorder.
Well, he's definitely under something on that time. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if he is right now. I think the whole point is like, at least that's what he's saying. I mean, he said it in that tell-all interview thing we saw. Well, he's talking. A lot of people are asking why I left another place and came here to TNA. By the way, he's in ring gear.
Now we're not going to say WWE.
They asked, was I fired?
Wasn't he fired?
It was a mutual release, and they asked if I quit.
He was fired though.
Now he's doing the rookie move here of talking to the larger side of the crowd when the hard cam is facing the other way.
Right. Yeah, he is doing that.
The best audience in the whole world, and you're right here. Look at these people. They're right here. He's leading a TNA chant. TNA, TNA, TNA. It's real. It's damn real.
Mm. Do you think you would be, if you were in WWE, you'd be sitting back there and be like, wow, I really want to be part of the TNA roster and get yourself fired, or no? Or quit?
Maybe. Kind of looks fun.
Really? You think you'd do that? Go from, wrestling in front of 15,000 people every Monday or Friday to wrestling in front of 900?
It's all about perspective, Bob. It doesn't matter how many people. It matters how much you're enjoying your time.
It's good to know. That paycheck going from, 1 million to half.
If you saved it, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Losing your wife to a coworker. Does
that did not happen yet. Okay, we're not there yet.
Losing your wife to your boss? That'd be cool. Cool.
Ugh, it's so bad. Okay. Oh, talking about Samoa Joe, you'd be terrified too if you had to get in the ring with him. I mean, that's what makes me the best, because I love fear.
Wow. Well, I don't.
I wrestle the best when I'm in fear. I'll break your damn ankle. I'll make you tap out. Angle is going to kill Joe. He's undefeated. He's unbreakable.
In TNA.
In TNA.
He's lost.
The thing that TNA in the headquarters forgot to tell me, he didn't know that Samoa Joe was a bleeder. He loves bleeders, and then
God, I love bleeders. This fucking guy says, "Give me a break."
And then here comes Samoa Joe. He's running down to the ring. Is this what's going to happen for the next 3 weeks before the matches? They're just going to keep running out and attacking each other.
I'm sure it will.
So much security, referees coming out. They even got Earl Hebner out here. He ain't going to do nothing. November the 19th. These guys have a hatred for each other that is unbelievable. Kurt Angle's been held back kind of laughing. Oh, Joe got out. Going after Angle. Look at that sick TNA shirt. It's damn real. Oh, here comes the locker room now, dude. Everyone's out here.
The locker room, also known as the X Division, and
and
guys in the mid
and Lance Hoyt and Ron Killings. It is always the X Division. Locker room. I mean, there's Styles, Daniels, Sabin, Sanjay Dutt. There's James Storm. I saw Brother Runt even, I think. The Naturals.
Brother Runt is in there?
Yeah, there he is.
Oh, there he is right there. What the fuck is Brother Runt gonna do?
He's helping hold him back, dude.
Give me a break. These two men are possessed.
Oh, shit.
Get him, Kurt.
Kurt's like wailing on the back of Samoa Joe's head, it looked like. Oh, Adrenaline Rush highlight package to end our show.
Adrenaline Rush. Okay, so if Christian and Rhino are doing a barbed wire steel cage match.
Yeah.
So that means they're not fighting at Genesis.
Yeah, you would assume not.
So what the fuck is Christian going to do for Genesis?
Tag match.
How the fuck would you do a tag match?
I don't know. I just feel like that's always what they end up doing. Oh, we just went off the air, by the way. 41 minutes, 45 seconds was our runtime. Bob, what did you think of that episode of Impact?
I guess it was okay. I didn't hate it.
Yeah,
I didn't hate it as much. Okay, I thought going into this, I was gonna hate it. Fight for your right thing was fine. I guess. I mean, it was whatever. It doesn't really.
I feel like that was the least exciting part of the show, but the rest of the show I enjoyed.
That ending with Joe and Kurt is good, and it's. I definitely want to see Kurt Angle. I want to see Angle and Joe. But I remember at the time, because I mean, in 2006, I'm definitely like a TNA fanboy. Like I'm watching Impact as much as I can. I remember even back then being like, this feels like it's way too early to be doing this, but like I wasn't necessarily complaining about it.
Well, right.
I felt like you could have done so many other things with Kurt before we got to Joe. Like Joe should be the end game of a longer like story.
Well, I have a feeling it's the beginning, which is, and by the beginning I mean this feud is not going to be one and done. I think what Meltzer says is this is potentially the a potential title feud of 2007. I think is very accurate.
But the thing too is I had no desire to even like pay to see it. Joe and Kurt. It was not like a money match to me.
I see what you mean.
And this is someone who is like aware of obviously Joe's history in TNA, but also his history in Ring of Honor and stuff like that. You know it's going to be probably a really good match.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't think at the time it translated with me as like some kind of dream match. I don't know. If it was happening now, would I pay to see it? I'd probably be like, Dallas, I'm coming over and we're splitting.
We got to watch it. Yeah. No, that's a fair
like
point.
That type of deal. But I didn't really have, I mean, I obviously have friends at the time, but not really friends that were like into TNA where I could be like, hey, come over and you want to split a TNA pay-per-view. Junior year of high school. I don't think that would have.
Right.
We did that for WWE sometimes, not like a TNA show.
Well, we get to watch it in just a few weeks. And it's going to be freaking good.
Yeah, and the thing, so the thing with this, I don't know, I can't remember if I've watched Joe Angle at Genesis. There's one match of theirs that I
You had to have.
I'm pretty sure there's one that I watched, like in completion.
Hmm.
But I was thinking about doing like reliving a rivalry between these guys.
Ooh.
Because they have enough matches where I could do it. But I probably should watch it here first before I get a clouded.
There you go. You should watch at least the first one. We can watch Genesis, and then you can do your article, and we can post it on the page.
Oh, yeah.
Cross promotion with WrestlingRecaps.com.
That's right. Yeah, so that'll be fun. That'll be fun to actually like kind of watch that for the first time.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
It's really the first time with like context of like week to week to week to week.
Right.
So
I think that's what makes it a lot more fun too.
Yeah, I mean, you could throw in a pay-per-view randomly and be like, okay, well that was good, but like, what did the build up for it really?
Well, and yeah, I think that goes for anything, right? Like,
no, yeah.
Even this reverse battle royal thing, like, at least we have the context of why we're watching it and stuff. Like, it doesn't make it necessarily a amazing match, but if you tell someone, hey, there's this like really ridiculous reverse battle royal, and then you just watch it, like, I feel like
we could post a clip on Twitter and be like, look at this dumb idea, and people being like, oh yeah, that was pretty dumb, without the context of like what is.
And that's what happens, but
go to. Right.
Well, I will say I'm excited that we are building matches for not only Genesis, but the primetime special that's coming up in just a couple weeks. And really, we are setting up our next couple episodes of television with this Fight for the Right tournament. So I don't really hate what's happening. I don't like tournaments, but I'll accept it for this because it's leading toward who's going to fight Sting at Genesis. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't hate tournaments. I just think that, and they're probably trying to fill TV time. Like, I get it.
Well, you come off such a huge pay-per-view, I get why they're doing it.
Yeah, but I think I would have just tried to condense it to just one episode. Like, you again, especially if Abyss wins it, you could have just had him beat Hoyt and then just call it a day. Yeah, yep, it's going to be Abyss and Sting at Genesis, and then you have your two top matches for your pay-per-view in 3 weeks, where it's Angle Joe, and then it would be Sting Abyss, and then just fill out your card from there. So
right.
This way it goes. But as of now, all we know is it's going to be Angle and Joe for the first time ever, November 19th on pay-per-view. So it's going to be a doozy.
And on November 16th, we have a barbed wire steel cage match between Christian and Rhino. So there's a lot of stuff going on, guys.
I'm kind of surprised they wouldn't just put that on pay-per-view as well, but it is a TV product, brother. So,
that's right. Ratings.
Pop a rating. Do what you gotta do. All right. Well, join us next week for when we continue, I would imagine, the Fight for the Right tournament. Who will advance? Who will challenge Sting for the championship at Genesis? We will find out in just a few more weeks. So until then, for Dallas Gridley, I'm Bob Colling Jr., and this has been the TNA Cross the Line podcast.
Orgullosamente Latino hasta la muerte y después. Worldwide Latino pride, the ambassadors of violence. LAX, K-Dog, the notorious 187 homicide. Bang, the dang, the dang, dang. Don't say nothing. Bang, the dang, the dang, dang. We be dumping. Bang, the dang, the dang, dang. Just act like you know, and homie, stop rocking through stomping. I'm from Miami, not Compton. Down with the essays in the 6-4 hopping. To my Boricuas in the 787. And those up in Brooklyn pulling 211. I come through stomping, rolling in my low top chucks, making sure you suckers feel me every time we bust. Shackled up like a nut, going 5150. G'd up and the feet up, creased up in some dickies. I rap a lot, like the label out of Houston. Sneaky like the clucker in the shop, straight boosting. To all my gente down in Juarez. Cálmate un momento, paisa, no dispares.
Put it down from Killer Cali to the MIA. Ask the homie Crazy K, yo man, that boy don't play. It's in my NIAK, putting it down all day. Representing Southern Cali, get in my way, yo, get sprayed.
We be dropping, bang the dang, the dang, dang. Don't say nothing, bang the dang, the dang, dang. We be dropping, bang the dang, the dang, dang. Just act like you know, and homie stop fronting. We be dropping, bang the dang, the dang, dang. Don't say nothing, bang the dang, the dang, dang. We be dropping, bang the dang, the dang, dang. Just act like you know, and homie stop fronting.
Through the hood, not strolling. Ain't no time to fake the funk, man. You suckers ain't knowing it's the KDOG in the place to be. Put it down like Red Mysterio representing SD.
Don't act stupid and act like you know. Make your body bend and face touch the flow. Political with a ghetto pass, and when we step on the scene, watch the cameras
So
flash.
take a stick with real gangsters that are known to ride. It's K Diggity Diggity Dog and the homie Homicide. Live in direct from SD, out here putting it down. An OG from Carroll City representing his town.
Aw, damn, here we go again. A Cuban, Puerto Rican, and those crazy Mexicans. From shiny chrome swings to shiny chrome rims. A modern superhero in a black brim.
We be dropping, bang the dang.